I could have done less for the whole year and be even bigger. Not as shredded though.
And so at least this year he stayed up on stage. He is a poor sport. Coach Greg, and in today's video, Hadi Choopan is furious that he did not win the Mr. Olympia Championship. And so at least this year, he stayed up on stage. Last year, upon getting second, he was so disappointed, he never even stayed on stage. He walked off, which was highly disrespectful. Imagine being Derek Lunsford, his moment of glory, and he walks off. And so this year, he at least stayed up on stage. But upon getting off stage and being interviewed, he could not contain his disappointment. Now remember, he's just lost the Olympia. It was very close. It was in fact tied after the prejudging. And so he was expecting to be the winner. And the difference, $600,000 in compared to $250,000. And so in his mind, he just lost $350,000. And so you have to understand his disappointment. But there is a way to do this. As disappointed as you are, you don't take it away from the victor. Derek Lunsford, who had previously won the Olympia, he was very gracious in his defeat. And this guy got third.
Samson, I am so happy for him. I really am, because I know what I said this to them on stage, to him and his wife. I said, this is your moment. I'm so happy for you guys. I really genuinely am, because I know what it feels like to be the champion, and it feels so good. And they're feeling that right now, and I'm like, I genuinely am happy for them, and I am, even though it sucks for me. But you can never take away from somebody else.
Derek is literally happy for Samson Dota. He doesn't want to take anything away from him. It's his moment of victory. It's his time to shine. And clearly, he's disappointed. Of course he is. Everyone gunning out to be the champion, the victor, if you don't win, you don't come out on top, you're going to be disappointed. But you don't take it away from your competitors. I did my best, and I got third. Hadi Choopan, in comparison, this is what he does. And remember, last year he walked off stage, and so he's demonstrating he is a poor sport.
He's thinking like, why did I've done a lot to be the most shredded, be the most conditioned. I'm thinking about all those meal preps that I've done the whole year.
میتونستم خیلی کمتر وزنه بزنم، خیلی کمتر رژیم بگیرم و یه گنده بیام و چپتر بیام.
I could have done less for the whole year and be even bigger, not as shredded though.
And so he's saying, look, all the dieting I did, all those meal preps, I could have dieted far less and came in bigger. I sacrificed, I put in the work, did the hours of cardio, only to lose to a guy who's less shredded. And so I could have done less, perhaps worked out less, rested more, ate more, and done better. And so what he's saying is, the winner, he wasn't shredded. Hadi Choopan, was clearly leaner than him, and so I should have won. And so Hadi, bodybuilding is about three main things: the size, the shape, and the shreds, the three S's. You have the size, and clearly you have the shreds, but you don't have the shape. In comparison, Samson Dota, he clearly has the size, clearly has the shape, but he doesn't have the shreds. And so you both essentially have 2 out of 3. And so what do you think that means? It was very close. You literally tied at the prejudging. Essentially, you're comparing apples and oranges. Some people favor apples, some people favor oranges. But you can't just say, why did I bother coming in shredded? If they're going for the size with less conditioning, then why did I come in so shredded? Hadi, you got second, and it was so close because of your conditioning. That is what makes you stand out. You have plenty of size, but you also come in granite hard, the leanest guy in the competition. And that is what I respect. But you aren't as shapely, you aren't as pretty as Samson Dota. And it's essentially a beauty pageant that combines muscle, size, shape, and conditioning. You don't have it all. If you had the same shape as Samson Dota with this kind of conditioning, you would have beat him. But to the same extent, if Samson Dota had the size and the shape and he was as shredded as you, it would be lights out. He would have won with a perfect score. And so rather than complaining and doing a lot of yapping, the year after you walk off the stage, perhaps be more gracious in your defeat. Hey, I did my best. I'm disappointed. I was hoping to come out on top. I know it was very close. Samson Dota is a great champion. He has amazing shape, lot of size. I brought the conditioning. I was hoping it was enough to come out as the victor. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite enough. I'm going to work even harder next year. I'm going to try to come out on top. That is how you do it. Derek Lunsford, the perfect example of how to lose graciously in defeat. He wants it bad. He was the victor. He won last year and was relegated to third. But rather than complaining, oh, why did they give it to Samson? He says, I'm going to do better. I'm going to go back to the drawing board and bring an even better package. And so rather than complaining about not winning, perhaps be happy you got second. It was a close call. And so Hadi, you did the best you could do with your genetics, and you should be proud. Coming in second, a close second at that. And remember, even I thought you were going to win. I saw you as first. But just because I think you're the best doesn't mean that you are. Different judges see things differently, and that's okay. That's how it works. But if you decide not to diet and you come in soft in order to come in fuller, you're not going to get first and you're not going to get second, and you're probably not even going to get third. You could go farther down the list. And so what you need to remember is this. You are doing as good as you are because of the conditioning, because of the work that you're putting in. And so if you just slack off because Samson Dota won while being softer, that's going to perhaps relegate you out of the top 3 call-out. Next step is for Hadi and Derek to drop Hani and hire Samson's wife. And so Samson, who won the Olympia, coached by his wife. And so people are thinking, well, what does she in fact know? But remember, it comes down to genetics. No matter how great your coach is, unless your athlete has the supreme genetics, you're not going to come out on top. He says he could have worked out less and be less conditioned and be just bigger because the judges only like the size and not the quality. If you do that, Hadi, you're going to be relegated to third at best. The fact that you brought the conditioning is what garnered you that close second place finish. He's the so salty every time he loses, just be better next year. He was the most shredded. Absolutely. But did he have the best aesthetics? Bodybuilding is not a diet competition. Notice, it's not called body dieting. It's not the leanest guy on stage. If it was a body fat percentage challenge, then no one would have to work out. You just go to the gym, do lots of cardio, starve yourself, and whoever's the most shredded are going to win. It doesn't work like that. Robbed, but it's okay. When it's this close and it's anyone's game, it's not robbed. It's called he lost by a little bit. There's a difference between being robbed and being out-edged by a valid opponent. If the guy who placed last won this competition, then he would have been robbed. But this was a close, narrow decision. Now I'll tell you what robbed looks like. Mike Israetel placing 6th because of his 10, that was highway robbery. How can you knock a guy down 5 positions simply because of the color of his skin? And so thankfully, Samson Dota has a better tan than last time, and so clearly had a very strong advantage. And I'm being sarcastic.
Thanks for watching.
I agree. Samson didn't deserve it. He wasn't shredded like Hadi. In comparison, Samson came fluffy. Imagine if Coach Greg said these statements. I'll say if a bodybuilder doesn't have abs, that they're fat. You're all saying that Samson Dota, who had perhaps 5% body fat at most, was fluffy? Now, he wasn't granted hard, perhaps 3% body fat like Hadi Choopan, but he's not fluffy. Man, just give praise to the winner, always crying and complaining. And so consider this. Let's imagine this had gone in his favor. Hadi Choopan is declared the victor. Do you really think that when they interview Samson Dota, that he would have said, why are they overlooking shape? I have all this shape and all they want is shreds. Is this a dieting competition? Or do you think Samson Dota would have said, I applaud Hadi Choopan. Congratulations. You looked amazing. You brought the conditioning. Good for you. Next year, I'm going to work even harder. I'm going to get leaner. I'm going to diet harder than last time. I'm going to purchase Coach Greg's cookbook with which my wife is going to prepare all those delicious recipes. I'm going to be using Geo2 Max and Turk Builder. Perhaps he would have said that in the interview. I don't know. But what I do know is he wouldn't have said, guy didn't deserve it. I'm better. Remember, Samson Dota was the people's champion. You were once the people's champion, but if you continue to complain, to downplay the victor, no one is going to respect you. You need to be gracious in your defeat and realize that second place is amazing. You did your best and you narrowly placed second. It's because he walked off stage last year when they weren't done. Now they're schooling him. Actually, I don't think that's the case. I don't believe so. I believe it was so close that it could have gone either way. When I watched the morning prejudging, and remember, I'm doing this from the live stream from the comfort of my own home. I am not in the front row. I cannot see exactly what the judges are seeing. And even I could see this was very close. I personally had Hadi slightly edging him out, but it was very close. He got robbed last year, but he was very close this year. Could have gone either way, but because he's from Iran, they couldn't give him it because of politics. Now, if he had never won the title before, I would think, maybe I should question that. But he's a former Mr. Olympia champion. And so how can you say it's politics and he's from Iran and that's why he didn't win when he's already won? Anyone think of that? Do you guys not think when you make these comments? Why can't people be impartial? I personally wanted Derek Lunsford to win heading into the competition. I then watched the prejudging and I had Derek in third place. He's the one I wanted to win, and even I, cheering for him, said he's going to get third. And Hadi Choopan, I personally said, I like that physique. It's so shredded. I respect that. I know exactly how hard it is, how hard you have to work to get that shredded. But I also love Samson Dota's physique. The aesthetics are unreal. Could he have been leaner? Absolutely. But he came in slightly less conditioned than Hadi Choopan, and so he left the door open. But if he comes in next year with the same conditioning as Hadi, it's going to be lights out, game over. No one's beating him. Guys, rather than complaining, just keep your mouth shut. Don't say anything. Show up in the same conditioning next year and hope that he's slightly off. Derek was not as conditioned as last year, and what happened? He went from first to third. And so Samson Dota next year, if he comes in slightly less conditioned, guess what could happen? He can go from first to third. Rather than worrying about what everyone else is doing, worry about yourself. Be your best self. Don't compare yourself to other people, as comparison is the thief of joy. Such a whiner. Hadi, you are not it, brother. Take your butt home and quit crying. You're built like a dishwasher, the end. I don't know about saying he's built like a dishwasher, but certainly Samson Dota has a more pleasing and aesthetic physique. Won't stop crying. His look is more of a classic physique type of look. Robbed again. Quit complaining. Cry baby. Guy proving second time he's a sore loser. Can't beat shape. Salty baby. And so let me know in the comments section, regardless of who your favorite was, should you not be able to lose graciously to be more like Derek and congratulate the champion, let him have his moment and not take away from his victory? These kind of comments when you place second and you complain that the guy didn't diet, to me it's disrespectful. Samson Dota, if he watches this video, probably he's going to think, what a sore loser. In comparison, when he sees Derek speak, he's going to think, that is the mindset of a champion. He's disappointed, of course he is. And why shouldn't he be? He worked all year to be the Mr. Olympia champion. It didn't work out for him, but he's humble and happy for the victor. That is what it's all about. The camaraderie should be stronger than last time. Yes, you want to win and you want to be at your best. But when you lose, you should not detract from the winner. Everyone did their best to win, and you cannot take that away from them. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm, like the video if you liked it, watch one of those two boops, and of course, the Turk Builder, the Geo2 Max, the cookbooks, all the supplements, get to the website, code Greg, 15% off. And until next time, I am out.